Hi, welcome to Issues and Insights. I'm your host, Alina Chesser, and today we're joined by Mayor J.J. Duvall and Josh Bashams. Hi, you guys.
Hey, how are you?
Good. So can you tell us a little about yourself, Mayor Duvall?
Yeah, of course, been involved in the city government side since 2006. Been involved, over the years, and it seems like I had a lot of good things. Watched Radcliff, grow over the past few years, and we have a lot of good projects going on, and hopefully, we'll continue to work, and got a great council we work with, and working every day to make sure Radcliff keeps growing in the right direction. And of course, with people like the Basham family, who's been in our community for 60 plus years,
Yeah.
Own and operate their own business, and then expanded that business over the years. We've just, people like this is what we love to see. And then on top of that, while we're here today to talk about things we're doing, and so just great partnerships and good things, and we continue to want to see Radcliff grow.
Yeah, I love Radcliff. I now call it home.
We're almost neighbors, so
yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
I love that neighborhood too.
Yeah.
It's nice. So, and my husband.
Yes,
So
very
we
well.
know a little bit. Yeah, we know each other.
Yeah.
So tell us a little about yourself.
I've been president of Red Hill Cutlery for the past couple of years. It's a family business. Basham Lumber was founded in 1963, which was our parent company. From my grandfather founded it, my father runs it now, and my brother helps run it now. So I've been working at Red Hill Cutlery for the past 22 years. So.
Wow, that's great. My husband worked for them for a little while, but when he would go in, I'd go just to look at the knives. So it was really cool when you guys got a new place. And I want to mention that you guys are actually in the Guinness Book of World Records for the largest working
Pocket knife, yeah.
That's really cool. That is really neat to have in Radcliff.
Yeah, it's an awesome thing, and the tourism that it helps bring to our community. Surprisingly, people that love knives, I've learned. I used to always go visit every year when Dad was living. I used to always go buy a knife for his birthday and Christmas, and people that love knives, and so they travel all over, and so it's a well-known thing.
And we got Radcliff to be the knife capital of Kentucky.
Yeah, knife capital of Kentucky.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
I have a friend her and her son come all the way up here from eastern Kentucky from Hazard.
Oh, wow.
Just to see the largest knife.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, that's a good travel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and Radcliff is, kind of a small town.
Yeah,
right?
it is
So-
incorporated in 1956, and like I said, we continue every day to try to grow and become a little bit, but we do like it,
Yeah.
where we can drive to Louisville when we get to the big city. So
That's right.
Yeah.
And Elizabethtown is growing too.
it's growing,
Yeah.
leaps and bounds as well.
So let's talk about the upcoming events that we have going on. We're going to have Bourbon and Blades, and then we're going to have a Radcliff parade, right?
Yep.
So let's start with Bourbon and Blades. Will you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. Bourbon and Blades is a festival that we created about 5 years ago with the city of Radcliff and local tourism. It celebrates Red Hill Cutlery and Knife Capital of Kentucky being on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. It's always started off with a knife show, then headlines with a free concert that afternoon.
So, I want to make sure everybody knows that's on September the 7th.
Yes, ma'am.
And can you give me an estimate of time that it starts?
So the knife show starts at 10 a.m.
Okay.
The music will start roughly around 3 to 4.
Okay.
And then Chris Jansen, we're estimating him go on stage about 9 o'clock.
Awesome.
So.
Awesome. So is it just all seating, general seating? Are there preferred seatings or anything?
It's for a free concert. You don't need anything to come to the concert. There is some
Chair and
preferred.
blankets if you
Just
like.
to bring your own chair, that's
Yeah.
right. It's a preferred seating. There's a limited, I think this is the first year we're going to almost sell out of preferred seating passes.
Yeah.
So there's preferred seating sold through the city of Radcliff. But that gets you closer to restrooms and the bar area. So.
And with that also, I think one of the things that Chris Jansen, he's a high energy guy.
Yeah.
I've been to one of his shows before. He actually opened up when Luke Bryant was here at the Sod Farm several years ago. He's a high energy guy. So around the stage, where in previous years they wanted to have, we could have seating. I think in his contract it actually has it to where people have to stand.
Oh.
And so he wants a live crowd,
Yeah,
around
yeah,
the stage
yeah.
versus the seats. So the preferred seating is a little bit more limited this time, and so that's why it'll probably sell out a lot quicker than we have in the past.
That's wonderful. So, and I know a couple of his songs too, like Buy Me a Boat.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody knows that one, but that's a good one.
Yeah.
And Good Vibes.
Yep.
So if you haven't heard of Chris Jensen, then those are some songs they can look up.
Yep.
Now, Hunter Girl was on America's Got Talent, and that's how she got started, and I think that's pretty cool. So do you know anything about either one of the guests other than that?
No, I know. So Jason, who's Josh's brother, every year when we go through the process, we try to find someone that kind of fits. Last year it was Gabby Barrett. She was American Idol girl. Had a great concert, great show. I got there late because my kids play football, and it went into overtime. And so usually I introduce and thank everybody. But when I got there, everybody was rocking and rolling. The show was going good.
Yeah.
First year was
John Michael Montgomery and COVID.
Yeah. But we had Billy Ray Cyrus and
Yep, I was there.
Leanne Rhymes.
I was there for that one.
They brought in, and so it really is when they looked at this. We have Boundary Oak Distillery that's there, who's Josh just mentions on the Craft Distillers Tour, and then they have the knife store that's obviously Guinness. As you mentioned, it's the largest museum I think in Kentucky, right?
The only Kentucky or knife museum.
Knife museum. So you start adding some of those elements to it, and from the city's point, from tourism's point, we really like to see people come into our community. We like to see the transient people come in and out and visit for that day. And so when you look at the numbers and the opportunities that this has brought in, it's only makes sense that the cities and tourism has been partnering along with other businesses.
And there's a lot of good stuff. There's food trucks that are there and other vendors that are there. Do you know some of the vendors that are going to be there?
We don't have any vendors. We have
Oh,
food trucks, yeah.
okay.
So we'll have, I think, about 8 or 9 different food trucks from the area. And we'll have a couple of the C.J. Buck will be here, which is the president of Buck. He's 4th generation. So he'll be there signing knives and stuff too. So
That's really interesting. So what other sponsors do you have? If you could just name a few for us.
Their sponsors? We're with our family being in this area for 60 plus years. It not just with the city of Radcliff. We built a lot of relationships. So
Yep.
of course it's us and the city of Radcliff, Basham Lumber Company, Red Oak Cutlery, the Boundary Oak Distillery. But my wife works for Sicilian Banks. Sicilian Banks been a sponsor from the first initial time. The Wolf, Abound Credit Union, BB-Tel, West Point Bank, Abound Credit Union, West Banco. So, we have
That's a pretty big list.
and then Buck Knives also invests in the area too for this concert. It's not just a show up and leave. They actually invest money into the event, a pretty
Oh.
good substantial amount. So,
I don't know anything about Buck Knives. Can you tell me a little bit about them?
Buck was founded in 1902.
Wow.
By actually CJ's great-great-great-grandfather. So his great-great-grandfather was the first one to make a Buck knife and put Buck on the name.
Wow, that's
So this
cool.
is a 4th generation, and actually CJ's son is already in the business to kind of assume the role too after. So should be going into a 5th generation.
Man,
Where the Pennsylvania? Where are they located at?
Cases in Pennsylvania. It's in Idaho.
Don't tell them I said that.
Idaho, yeah.
Idaho.
Idaho, yeah.
Idaho.
So it's a pretty good trek for them to come down here.
and they're going to bring, limited edition knives too with them. That's great. So do we know if they're going to do tours and tastings for the bourbon, or is it?
Yeah, they're open.
Yeah,
they're
so they're
open
gonna
and
do it all.
functioning. Yep, they'll be
Oh,
functioning.
that's
everything.
really
Yep,
good.
Yep.
I also saw something about a special Zippo lighter. So do you know what's on it? Can you tell us?
It's every year we do a Zippo lighter along with 2 case knives and 2 Buck knives. It's like an event package. They're all sold separately. There's 100 made of each Buck knife, 50 each of the case knives, and 50 Zippo lighters. And they're only available at 10 a.m. that day.
Oh, wow.
So-
get in line early.
We usually have a line waiting when we open the doors.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. So what is the most expensive knife? I just have to ask. What is the
World's largest.
world's largest, I bet.
Yeah.
So is there something that our husbands or boyfriends or even ourselves would like there? Tell me what your most popular knife is.
It's hard to say what most popular is because we're in a unique business to where we sell not just work knives or law enforcement or military, but we sell heirlooms that can get passed down. So it goes from the grandpa carrying a knife to church on Sunday to the police officer or EMT that's actually out there saving lives.
Like utility.
So it's completely, I mean, it's
It's
a wide
wide
range.
range.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
You got katanas, you got, I mean,
little bit of everything.
there's everything in there from Swiss Army to, hatchets. I mean, it's everything in there.
So, and I want to say that this is a family-friendly event.
Absolutely.
And can you tell us about parking? Where should we park? Or will you all have guides out there directing the parking?
Yeah, for the past several years, well, ever since the event started, obviously parking can't happen on site. And so the partnerships that we've been able to build with the local property owners around the area adjacent to the Walmart neighborhood market, the field across from the neighborhood market, has really been beneficial to us, allowing, and then usually over the past few years, the Boy Scouts have been helping. And then we have some of the city workers out there pointing people where to park. And it's really close. It's less
Yeah.
than a half a block, 2-block walk.
Yeah.
And so that works out perfect. And honestly, from everything, I have personally, knock on wood, had any complaints from anybody regarding the parking, but so far it works really well.
It's one of the biggest compliments we get is how fast they can get in and out after the event. They have it very well laid out and organized.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I bring my track chair, so I have to actually have a trailer attached
To
to
park,
the.
yeah.
Yeah, and that can be sometimes difficult.
Tough, yeah.
But we've not ever had a problem where we couldn't go.
Yeah. Well, one of the things too I want to mention, and we'll mention it too with our city parade, but our city staff has been very good. Our police, fire, public works, Ashley, who's my deputy, they all work very well together to make everything come together up there because they put in a lot of the extra work that people don't get to see because you have to do the setup, the cleanup.
Right.
But yeah. So we want to thank them as well.
Now, do you all take volunteers?
Oh, yeah.
Does somebody come out and say, hey, let me help?
Yeah, absolutely.
sure.
Oh, that's great. Kentucky
had
Colonels.
'em- we've
we
had 'em-
might have to get in there too.
Yeah, Kentucky Colonel, we'd love to have them out. We've actually had some of our volunteers throw barrels for us.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So is there things that we can't bring? What can we not do?
I think coolers, have we done?
Coolers, umbrellas, high back chairs.
Yeah, anything that would block views. So,
Views.
yeah, the coolers obviously for
Yeah.
obvious reasons. You know, we're not gonna get mad, I guess, if you bring water and some Gatorades in, but we're not looking for you to have a full tailgate going
Well,
on.
yeah, I mean, you've got the food vendors
You got
there.
vendors there, you
So,
have people
you know,
selling there for adult beverages and so you kind of want them to, that's why they're
Right.
there, you know, they're set up to try to help make some money, so.
Yeah. So what about meet and greets? Is there going to be any meet and greets that we could get with the music?
Channing Wilson, Hunter Girl, and actually we haven't announced it yet, but Colin White is actually going to be opening up the show. He's been on the Opry, and he'll be opening up the show. So those three will be doing meet and greets immediately following their performances
Okay.
at that Red Hill Cutlery.
And how do we, so we just come over to Red Hill Cutlery and they'll be there?
You'll see their merch table set up on the front porch, and that's where the lines will start out there.
Oh,
Yep.
that's wonderful. Smoking. No smoking on the premises? No?
No.
That's a hard one for some people.
Yeah, you know, most of the people, I think, in today's time know that a lot of things are non-smoking. So usually they find a little place where they kind of get
Away
yeah.
from everybody.
Yeah, so and we don't really, you know, we're not going around pointing fingers. But
Right.
if we see somebody out in the main crowd, usually we say, hey, can you? Yeah, because
Yeah.
we've had it in the past where people are just sitting there and they're outside. They start smoking, and we just kind of say, hey, can you?
Tone
We
it
haven't
down a
had
little.
any issues yet.
And pets, of course, you can't bring your pets unless it's a service animal.
I don't think we've ever had the issue.
I've never had that question
Yeah.
asked. Yeah.
So
Oh.
I don't think we're going to run anybody off, but as long as it's being kept
On
to the
leash and
yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And
No,
it's
no,
outside
mine's
the-
coming with me probably.
Yeah. So we don't really say nothing. Just obviously, we want you to make sure you bring a little baggie if
Yeah.
if need be, because the way the yards are. But yeah,
Yeah, everybody's got to sit there, so.
yeah.
What about, and then, is that all that we have on that? Do we have anything else that you want to include?
That's pretty much the gist of all of it, I believe.
Yep. 10 a.m., 10 p.m. Saturday, September 7th. I'm just reading it right off
Yeah.
here.
I mean, it's just a full day of activities. So.
So where can people find your little flyers at so that they know all the information?
Red Hill Cutlery, and then it's on our Facebook pages. That's
Okay.
all linked up for the city of Radcliff, or Red Hill Cutlery. All have event pages set
That's,
up.
that's good to know.
Yep. And then ticketleap.com for preferred seating. I think we're still selling on there. So backslap Radcliff or Bourbon and Blades.
Do you know how much the preferred seating cost?
$65.
$65, okay. And so Red Hill Cutlery, of course, Boundary Oak, and then Buck Knives. That's who we should be watching for. Will they have merchandise and stuff there for sale as well?
Buck will, and we will always sell merchandise and event knives, and actually event T-shirts are in now. So we actually just stock the shelves with all the event T-shirts. So.
All right, so we can get started on that, right?
Yeah.
Now, we have another event coming
Yep.
up, the Radcliff City Parade.
Yeah, in past years, everything sometimes gets adjusted, and so we have usually had it on the second. There was a cultural festival for the past few years, and we've always had a Radcliff Days parade, and it started back in 2011. Back when I became mayor, we started having the parade again, and so it was always in September, or it dropped down to October. The first week of October. So we kind of fluctuate with dates. Well, when this happened, I think one year we had it on the same date, and that was a very long day.
I bet.
It's a very long day. And so, long story short, September 21st, we're having our annual Radcliff Days Parade, but the theme is Dance the Night Away. And so, what is interesting about this parade is it's an evening parade. Most of the times your parade starts at 10 a.m. That's
Right.
everywhere, But we kind of started thinking about it, and we have a parade, and then by 11 o'clock, 11:30, it's over, and you have vendors and everything set up. But a lot of people don't really stay afterwards. A lot of people kind of leave. They got soccer games, they got football games, they got a lot of things that are going on.
Yep.
And so we said, hey, why not look at it from a different perspective? And so we said, hey, 5 o'clock, because I think in the evening time more people want to come out, they want to stay out, they want to hang out for a little while longer. And so our event starts at 4.
Okay.
That's vendors, and that is the food trucks and stuff. The parade will start at 5. This is at Lincoln Trail, and we usually come out behind, just up from Abound Credit Union off Deepwood there, and we head down Lincoln Trail, same parade route we've had for several years. We'll end at Freedom's Way, right next to City Hall. And so the theme of it is, like I said, Dance the Night Away. And so if you have a second, if you have time, you can always look up New York City. They've had 18 years of an annual dance parade.
Oh.
And I didn't know that until we kind of came up with this, and I started Googling stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, but they have it, and so that's kind of, we're not expecting everybody to sit there and dance, but we're reaching out to dance groups, dance organizations.
That would be fun.
Telling people to, we're going to have a dance zone, so the parade will stop when you get to that place and you can dance. So we'll have cultural dancing in it. We'll have some, I think we're going to ask some of the Greek fraternities from Fort Knox to do some of their dances. And so I think it's just going to be a fun opportunity. And the main thing that differentiates us from other parades in town is that we throw candy. And so, yes.
Yeah.
I know Vine Grove still does. I know E-Town doesn't, but I have to rub that into Jeff Gregory all the time. Y'all don't throw candy.
I mean,
when you see those little poor kids on the side, they just have their hands out. They just want to, and you can't throw candy. It just makes me,
yeah, it does.
So we throw candy in ours. So
That's good. That's
yeah.
good.
And then afterwards, the vendors will be set up, and we'll go to about 9 p.m.
Okay.
There'll be food trucks, vendors, and then there'll be some cultural music, dancing. We have a DJ that'll be there playing music, and so we hope it'll just be a fun evening. And we've had a good group of people that's been working together. We have some of our council members. Of course, Ashley's a big part of this, and even Pete Countryman's volunteering. Everybody knows Pete, and so Pete's been very good helping us get vendors and food trucks and stuff. So.
Do you know who's going to be in the parade?
No, so what we do in our parade, we tell people to be there at a certain time. We don't have a lineup. It's kind of first come, first serve where you get in the line. The only ones we know that usually are going to be there are the politicians. And so the politicians are usually the ones that will always show up during they'll always be up front. Oh, those are usually up front. So.
Yeah. So if I decide that I just want to ride in the parade, I can just show up?
You can just show up.
Oh, no, you shouldn't have gave me that free
You
reign.
can show up. But yeah, Dance the Night Away, our theme, and just make sure you bring music, have fun, and enjoy it. And this will be our first one, so we'll get the kinks out for next year. Yeah, 5 p.m.
5 p.m. Okay, we'll remember that. Also, with the parade, is there good seating areas? Do you recommend a certain area to sit, or just along the whole route?
Yeah, one of the things that we changed up was the route. Obviously, I like the route a little bit better. It's not as long as most parades, but keeping in mind we jam everybody into a certain area, and so you know, that's the whole point of the parade is to get as many people. If not, we'd be spread out. You know, you'd have
Forever,
3
yeah.
people here, you may have 10 people here. This way, you know, you get a whole line of people. But it starts at Deepwood, and any parking from the post office down to City Halls is fine.
Now, you may not know this or not, but is there any way people can get to the parade that don't necessarily have transportation? Do you know if TAC is going to bring people, or if anybody else is going to do it?
I really don't. We don't have anybody, you know. Hopefully there'll be people that'll be able to get rides there.
Yeah.
Never had that asked before. I think most thing we usually get is handicap parking.
Yeah.
But obviously Colvin has, you know, parking and stuff like that.
Right.
But we don't have anything set up on the side of the road because most people park on their businesses, you know, the businesses that are out front. Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything else that you would like to add to it?
No, just what I think one thing I'd like to say, and whoever hears this, but you know, there's a lot of effort, time, energy, money, and a lot of volunteers that go into putting these events on. And a lot of times,
Absolutely.
and I know you read it too, you see people say, "Well, there's nothing for us to do. There's nothing for us." Well, it's sometimes you gotta make the effort to do something. And so, you know, these events we try to put on. You know, obviously we can't do something every single weekend, but these events cost a lot of money, and these, you know, there's a lot of time and effort going into it. So, you know, try to come out, support it. You know, come out and see if you like it. Don't like it, that's fine. But just come out and
You know, while
enjoy the evening.
while you were talking, I got to thinking, Santa rides a fire truck
Uh-huh.
all over Radcliff.
Yeah.
You just never know when he's going
Every
to
single
show
night.
up.
Every single night.
So will you all be doing that again too in December?
Yeah, the fire department does a great job at that. Santa is a great volunteer, and Santa puts in a lot of time and effort to make that happen. And so
I bet.
we appreciate everyone there at the fire department and a lot of volunteers that make all that happen. So
That's great.
Yep.
So I'm glad I got to talk to everybody today.
yeah,
Do you have any more events coming? No?
No, ma'am.
That's it? This
we-
big push?
This is our last push for the year, then we go right into Christmas season. So.
Yeah. I think a lot of people is. That's what made me think of Santa.
yeah,
It's coming.
That's right.
It's right around the corner. 2025 is on our heels. So,
Yeah, it is. Now voting is coming up too.
Yep.
So
November.
is there a good place to vote? Can you tell us a little about that?
I don't have, so that's, Brian Smith obviously has
Yeah,
done a
that's
great
his
job
thing.
in trying to reach more voting areas in Kentucky, or in Radcliff and in Hardin County in general. And so he's added Colvin Community Center back as a
Oh,
voting
that's
precinct.
good.
And of course you have North Hardin. But so far it's worked very well.
Yeah.
It's just getting the information out to the folks to know that they don't have to go stand in line at North. There's other options that are.
I don't know if you saw it one year, but at North, the line wrapped
there.
around. Oh, I was like, man.
I was there. It went all the way down the hallway, back up the hallway, and then back down.
Yeah, yeah. It was but you know, it wasn't too slow, really.
Yeah.
You know, we got around. But I do appreciate you guys
Yeah,
coming and
absolutely.
talking, and I really hope to have you guys come again.
Yeah, we got 3 Radcliffe people here. That's
I
right.
know, right?
Yeah, so it's awesome.
And we actually live really close to each other.
We do.
I don't know, are you in our area too?
I've lived in Vine Grove all my life.
Oh,
So, yeah.
okay.
But I've worked in Radcliff all my life. So.
So that's the only way we like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again. And thank you for joining us today. I hope you get out in Radcliff and have a little fun, and you might see us there. Talk to you later. Bye.